3, 2, 1, go. And for those on the stream, we should be in the game. I know it's a black screen right now. It should pop up. There it is. Welcome, guys, to our first round of the main stage of the All-Star League. And I am ready for 7 weeks of continuous Age of Empires 2 action. It's going to be glorious, and there's going to be some amazing, amazing matches. But our first match of the day and of the tournament is going to be BacT versus TaToH in a 3-game series. And joining me here is going to be Milmano for the first 2 sets of games today.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on. This time, I'm not going to say hello for each introduction. Some people have said to me, you say hello every time. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm terrible with intros. So my goal today will be just to be at least more varied as possible, my introductions. But yeah, 7 weeks. Oh my God. This is going to be insane. So we got, of course, the first matchup, TaToH versus BacT, or BacT. The usual conundrum we're going to have is, how do we call him? But someone from the chat today was like, oh, it's streamer versus streamer. And, I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Well, I think actually most players in the league are now also streaming as well. So I think we're going to have a few streamer versus streamer matchups. But yeah, going into this one, obviously, BacT has played quite a bit of the expansions now, since he's played in most of the Escape Gaming tournaments that we've hosted so far, giving him some experience with the new civilizations and the expansions that come with HD. However, TaToH is well known to be, the most versatile kind of player, the player who's great at adapting to all different kinds of situations. He's probably the most experienced with the new civs as well. And that's going to be interesting when it comes to game 2 and 3, when we're going to get hidden civ picks. But right now, we've got a Goths War, as first match is going to be Mirror Civs, and it's going to be on Valley, which is our first map right here. Maybe you could talk a little bit more about the maps. Just quickly as well, TaToH is in the blue here, and BacT is in the red.
Yeah, so Valley, Valley's in the name, really, isn't it? So in the middle of the map, you're just going to have a lot of hunt with a few pockets of shorefish. And this is what I really love about this map, is not only is it fairly open, as we can see in this game, it's fairly open, except for TaToH. Oh my God, we'll get to that in a second. But it's fairly openish map, but the main thing about it is just this middle bit. There's so many deer. Like, if you can capitalize on this bit, you get such value out of it. So I'm really looking to see what they're going to do in this game in terms of this middle ground, because the last time we did a Valley, we didn't really see an awful lot of it. Together we saw, what was it, Liereyy just destroying
Fire.
Fire, that game, 9 minutes.
9 minutes, I know, fastest game yet, I think. Maybe apart from the one where BacT killed his king in a regicide, but we won't talk about that.
No. Oh boy, yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So apart from that, the rest of the map's pretty standard as far as I'm aware. The golds are looking pretty, except for, actually, is there a real main gold? I can't see for BacT. Where's BacT's main gold? It seems to be pretty even on the tiles. It's like, what, 5, 6?
5 on the south, and then 5 on the north as well. But I think that's just this map.
Yeah,
I think
the map,
you don't get a 6 main gold. It's just 5 and 5.
Well,
and then
that's rigged.
Well, then you get but then your third gold is a 4, and then there's the extra golds also look like 4s as well, whereas normally they're usually 3s. But in this case, yeah, it's a fairly open front to the map. And as you said about the deer, we can see BacT already going towards the center to build a mill out there and start taking those deer straight away, making, definitely rushing that. That's what I wanted to say. But let's talk about TaToH's map. You're saying how it actually isn't that open at all, especially towards that north side.
Yeah, it's a lot of woodland cover, so it's great for him just to able to wall up this section in general. If it was BacT, I would imagine he's already starting to wall it already, but TaToH seems to be okay. He's going to put some nice sort of like barracks and a couple of houses in the front, just like an artificial wall. He's not intentionally going out to create it. It's one of those sort of things like, oh, I built the house, let's build the barracks next to it, and so on. So I like it from TaToH. He doesn't have to spend all his time just walling up everything. He'll get to it, but he knows that he's got time on his hands, and he expects what's going to happen is going to be a drush as well, because this map is kind of, to a degree, built for drushing, especially with Goths. So Yeah, he's got the barracks coming up, and BacT is same here as well. And what I love from BacT is the fact that he's gone for the mill forward. It's a bit of a risky play because your mill's forward, your villagers are a little bit exposed, but he's already put the barracks down right next to it, which is great because he can get those military units out and protect the villagers if he needs to. But on top of that, if he wants to go a bit more aggressive, he's already got the platform for it. He's got some villagers in the vicinity. He's got a military building down. And the villagers aren't idling either because they're taking the hunt. Although I am a little bit surprised he's not taking the shorefish with a couple of villagers. He's got one, but you know how amazing they are at taking shorefish. So I would have gone for the shorefish first, but that's just me. So well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good mill position. It's between two deer patches, and I was just looking at BacT's base, and it doesn't actually look like he has got a deer patch close to his base at all. So that's why he came forward, I think, as well, certainly influencing his decision. Whereas you can see TaToH actually does have a deer patch close to his base, and he's building a mill on that to the north side of his base, which is really exposed actually because this wood line is kind of blocking the villagers from getting back to the TC safely. But TaToH's moving out with the militia right now, and I imagine BacT's probably just going to play this defensively just to protect the villagers gathering this food. And in the meantime, if you compare, TaToH's already built a mill on his berries, and he's built a mill at the back on the deer as well, whereas BacT is making do with just a single mill right now, saving himself quite a bit of wood as well. So by the time he gets up to the feudal age, you're going to see he's going to have quite a big advantage in the amount of wood he's got, which is going to allow him to immediately put down an archery range or a stable. And if we look at how many villages he has in gold right now, it looks like he's actually going to go for man-at-arms first as well.
Yeah, I expected from both players to go man-at-arms straight away. Again, Goths, just Goths, and of course the hunt, and then 2 in the gold. I expect this entirely to happen. But you're absolutely spot on about the mill thing. I did see it myself, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. Yeah, the 100 wood, especially for something that's only going to give him 4 deer, and then he's got to either build another mill if he wants to, or go and make farms, which either case isn't the most ideal in comparison. But you can see here from back, though, he's having to move away. He's a little bit shaken away by those militia. He's going to have to go and build another mill, I imagine. And that's actually if he goes towards... Ooh. Okay, he's going to go somewhere else. Okay, that's fine. But we'll see what TaToH does with these 4 man-at-arms.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't think BacT saw them. I mean, he's sending his own man-at-arms out across the map right now. Obviously, he did move his villagers down, so I'm assuming he did see them. And he builds an archery range back at home. So both players getting aggressive onto each other. The question is who will be able to do the most damage? Who will find any villager picks or something along those lines? BacT's coming in towards the berries of TaToH, whilst TaToH's looping around towards the gold there of BacT. But... yeah, I think BacT's going to be the first to strike by the looks of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so BacT just built another mill. He's going to take the shorefish, or I think that's like the instant sort of villager. Like, oh, must gather something. Okay, I'm not too sure about TaToH here because BacT should be able to wall. Oh god, please wall this up. Okay, he sees it. Oh, I was about to say, please don't contradict myself. He's going to find those 2 bills though.
That could be bad. The man-at-arms blocking the way for the villagers to get back. That one has been singled out. She's probably going to go down, actually. I don't think there's any way she can get back to the TC. And what's interesting here is TaToH seems pretty committed to these man-at-arms. He's got 3 man-at-arms at home as well as his scout. So TaToH's up onto 4 plus 3 man-at-arms right now. Maybe he's actually on 8. He's added even more. So I'm loving this from TaToH, bringing out all the man-at-arms to the party. And I mean, I'm personally a big fan of the man-at-arms style play. You can see BacT clearly making a very quick switch into the 2 archery ranges here. But BacT already losing a villager, and TaToH defending quite well at home as well. TaToH's coming in now as well towards those berries. We've got a 3rd mill coming up for BacT, and I think we're going to see... oh! What on earth? I thought we would see a villager getting trapped. Surely TaToH can get in there and trap some villagers, but nope. He's going to have to get away. TC arrow fire causing some trouble.
That's good recovery there, I guess, for BacT. Managed to keep those bills alive, did a little bit of damage onto the man-at-arms. TaToH now has to rethink the plan. He's like, well, okay. Now this is a bit of a problem for him in terms of the fact that BacT's got 2 ranges up. The wood is fairly safe. The gold is a bit untouched. So production-wise, going to be unaffected. And again, but look at that man-at-arm, though, on BacT's mill. He's found it. He's found the rogues.
Yeah, those
hell
villagers
low.
have to fight right now, and well, it actually looks like BacT will bring over a man-at-arms as well. I think he'll keep all of his villagers alive here, to be honest, but he's going to have to bring those weak ones back home, otherwise they are a little bit of a liability out in the middle of the map. Could easily be picked off later on by a couple of archers, or maybe even some more man-at-arms from TaToH. I think TaToH's made about 10 man-at-arms so far, which is quite the commitment. And meanwhile, you've got BacT sending, as you said, those villagers out to gold to the north. And since TaToH's army's in the south, he's not really doing anything to stop that. So BacT is able to very easily switch into archers, which, as we know, do counter the man-at-arms quite effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, skirmisher man-at-arms combinations really nice here. If he can, of course, it all come down to the micro though, in terms of how effective TaToH can be. He's making, as you said, a massive investment in this man-at-arms. It's a big food cost, and you can see he's starting to get those farms down already. But is he missing the horse collar? Because 175 food on that farm, I think he's missing that, and that's huge because that food loss is pretty massive. And the fact that he's been on deer and everything else, I'm a little bit, and of course those cows giving an extra 50 food, I'm a little bit surprised in the fact that he didn't, especially going for 10 man-at-arms as well. You would have probably thought that you need to get a bit more food investment in the farms themselves, and especially the fact that you don't have to make any farms earlier on, you would save the wood and food itself to get that horse collar. So it's a bit of an economic loss there for him.
Well, I mean, right now, I think he's just really invested in the man-at-arms, and maybe his food was a little bit low before. I mean, he can afford it now, but right at this point, he is pushing BacT quite hard, and these men-at-arms actually taking quite a bit of a beating and still staying alive, acting as a little bit of a meat shield in here. The skirms on the hill doing some damage as well, and TaToH right now looking okay, but suddenly the archers come into effect, and those men-at-arms will all just get cut down. Hard to say who traded... who traded the best in that fight. I'd say that BacT probably came out on top, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say BacT came on top. It was really well played by BacT. He got a couple of those archers who were being focused on by the skirmishers and just sent them like a ring of rosies. So a lot of TaToH's army wasn't focusing where it needed to be. And then that just allowed BacT's archers, the rest of them anyway, to focus on what they needed to do. So that was really well played by BacT. He's even going to put a tower up. He's really understanding that the part of this game in general, how important this middle ground is, and that tower is going to help secure not only the deer, but again this platform and what he's built himself on to be. So smart play by BacT. I do like it. You just got to make sure he gets the value out of it. Otherwise, then it's kind of like, well, he just wasted 125 stone, and that will leave his base a little bit unprotected. But he is building a mining camp on that stone, so good forward thinking from BacT. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about this tower in general. I mean, it feels a little unnecessary. If he maintains the military advantage, then he shouldn't, in theory, need a tower. And in the words of DauT, towers are a waste. But TaToH here, as you can see, only just adding his second archery range right now. So BacT, remember, has been on 2 archery ranges since he hit the feudal age, basically. And as a result, BacT right now is sitting on 13 ranged units, while TaToH is sitting on 8. And BacT is going to be able to match the production of TaToH as well. So I don't see that changing anytime soon. Finding a pick on that left-hand side, and BacT should now be able to keep the map control in his favor. If he comes to the north, he would find 4 villagers gathering the deer, and that's a risky play from TaToH. These guys are toast if BacT finds him in that northern area, but at the moment BacT sort of pressuring this front side, and at the moment the upgrades are even as well, +1/+1. TaToH with more skirms, and we'll see how this engagement goes. If TaToH plays this well, he should come out on top, I think, but gonna have to go back.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit caught out there, and then in terms of, I think, not really looking, and then he's like, oh, I don't think I want to be here anymore. Look at that man-at-arm, though, soaks up so much damage. Like, the skirmishers just don't mean anything to them. That was really nice. But now it also allows BacT to go a bit more aggressive with these towers, and there we go. Another one popping just right by those archery ranges. And he's just going to probably, I think, do you think he's overextending here with these archers? Because he's going to lose a lot of them. Yeah. I'm not too sure that tower's going to get up in time. And if it does, what's it really doing? What's the achievement out of this tower if he can't get it up, or if he can get it up?
Well, I mean, the problem right there for BacT is he committed all of his army so he could get the tower up, and then he's fighting mass skirms with archers, and we know that's not going to end well for BacT
No.
at all. I think the tower, the objective is maybe so that he can come forward with another tower. At the very least, it's going to do chip damage against these units when they're created. But I think TaToH, with the defender's advantage, making the counter units here, should be able to clean up most of these archers. But the big problem, I think, is that BacT is still adding men-at-arms. These men-at-arms, they're going to take, what, 24 shots? Wait, no, more than 24 shots. Wait, how many? Yeah, no, sorry. They're going to take 23 shots even from each skirmisher. And that's causing a lot of tankiness in BacT's army, which his archers can kind of fire from behind and do the damage.
You're absolutely right. And he hasn't even got the +1 armor if he's going to go for that sort of route. And that makes him even more tanky. But there's a shift in strategy right now. So, as you said, BacT's got a bit more aggressive. He's pumping more man-at-arms in. Towers coming down, trying to put the pressure. TaToH's looking to click up. He's got 666 food. The gold is there. He's looking okay, in all honesty, because where can BacT go on from here? Because TaToH's got that one part already covered, that tower by his TC. The rest is all house wall. There's a bit of palisade to the south, but if you can see, if he breaks in, there's another section for TaToH to wall. So I think TaToH's pretty well covered. So it's looking pretty good, I think, for TaToH. Just got to hold on for a little bit longer, wait for that castle age to come in, and then I think he can fight back pretty well. So yeah, looking good, I think, for TaToH. They're just playing smart.
I actually agree with that as well. I mean, as you said before, these towers aren't achieving that much. TaToH's just garrisoning inside of the ranges so that his units aren't taking any damage from the tower. And sure, this is going to be a nuisance, but it's not really achieving a huge amount for BacT. Okay, we'll cover the gold there, but TaToH has gold in the back. TaToH's also got a lot of stone, and in fact, he's mining a hell of a lot of stone right here. And I'm assuming he's going to go for a castle once he hits the castle age. And given how many farms he's got up right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Huskarls coming straight out. Obviously, a natural counter to these archers that BacT is already creating. So, yeah, I mean, I do feel pretty good about TaToH, and TaToH clearly feels pretty good about his position as well, because he's actually counter-attacking with these skirms right now. BacT, on the other hand, still hasn't clicked up to castle yet, and I think it's that, the investment into more man-at-arms which has slowed him down here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's about to click up any second now, but if we compare, TaToH is, what, halfway up by now? Yeah, just gone past the halfway mark, 60% up. And this is the other thing I haven't really touched on as well. That castle that clearly TaToH's going for, he's got a really good set of options here. He could try and place it defensively if he thinks he's under a bit too much pressure. Or with those 4 villas up at the top, he could go for a very bold play and put it right slap bang on the outside of that golden stone. There is a tower coming up from BacT, but I don't think that's in a good enough position if there was going to be a castle drop. So this is really interesting. He's got some versatility in what his plan can be. I think he's going to play it defensively, though, because he doesn't want to risk it. So let's see what he does, though.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree. I think he could put it defensively near this gold on the left side, and then he will be able to push these 2 towers down. But interestingly, look at this. TaToH's first or second range is actually going to go down to the 3 man-at-arms and these archers. The thing is, though, TaToH knows all he has to do is just bide his time. He just has to wait until he can get that castle up, and then he's going to have no problem cleaning up this army and pushing BacT away. I like the idea of, like you said, with the 4 villages at the north, maybe putting a castle down on this gold, but I don't think TaToH actually has any scouting info of that, and if you look at his fog of war, he actually does not, so he's probably not going to think to do that.
Ooh, but he will now, though. The skirmishers that are coming to Rome, we'll see a tower. Oh, be one more tower. Okay, he does see the village. There we go. That elite skirmisher actually gave him the vision from that extra range just to see that gold tile. Nice. Oh, that's crazy. That's nice.
And actually, elite skirm and +2 for TaToH suddenly means that these skirmishers are a threat to villagers now, enough that BacT is actually having to run them away. If he hadn't had those upgrades, I think BacT probably would have fought with his villagers there underneath the tower. Because, this unupgraded skirms, definitely a force that can't be... Sorry, unupgraded skirms can be killed by villagers. Let me just try and rephrase that there. It's first game of the day. I mean, I'm not going to be able to talk for a couple of games yet, and then I'll get into the flow of things. But the TaToH castle is coming up, and it is coming up on that gold, so it will push away both of those towers there. Of course, BacT is going to have vision of that. He'll know the castle's on the way up, sorry, because of his towers are there. And he's going to know, okay, well, obviously there's going to be some Huskarls headed my way. We'll see what BacT's reaction to that is. If we look at BacT's base, he's actually making knights right now, and I think that's pretty smart, because if he's anticipating the Huskarls, plus the fact that there are some skirms roaming around, knights, I feel, are a very good choice to work together with his crossbows here.
Yeah, it's a strong combination to work with, that's for sure. And the knights, of course, high HP. The damage is pretty good as well, just like a meat shield on top of that. The crossbows don't do much damage at all, of course, but anyway, again, skirmish is really easy to deal with. You're absolutely spot on. It's really nice. I think he needs a couple of upgrades, though, to make them really, truly effective.
Absolutely.
But if I was, it's a bit... Because if you do that, then you're kind of investing heavily to a degree into knights, and then it's not exactly like Goths are built for infantry, so they can pump out a few pikemen pretty easily on top of that. So
yeah, sure.
If TaToH wanted to, so I think BacT's playing it smart though. He's not just going to carbon copy everything. He might try and go for scars eventually. He's got the stone, but I think he's going to instead invest in TCs. Exactly what he's going to do in between that stone and the gold, and then maybe look to get that castle up later.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I think for BacT right here, he doesn't feel the need to get a castle up that quickly. I mean, I feel like he maybe overcommitted a little bit to the towers. It did cost him a lot. He built like 5 towers in total, which is, enough to basically afford a castle. So he could have had that castle already had he not gone for all those towers there, and maybe they were a little unnecessary. But right now he's building the 2nd and 3rd TC. TaToH's also got his 2nd TC and 3rd TC on the way, and the Huskarls are coming out. So TaToH's just waiting to get a good number of Huskarls together, and he should be able to grab these crossbows. And I'm really worried that BacT is just going to throw these crossbows away. He's going in way too deep inside of TaToH's base here, and he's going to get trapped.
Oh, yeah, that house there by TaToH up in the north, that sort of semi-built one. It's so close to finishing.
So close.
What an insult that is to the house. I mean, what the hell. But anyway, yeah, it's going to trap him in. I mean, but it's going to go away. I think that's really good smart by BacT there, because he's realized that he's a bit too deep and he's not going to get anything done. So he might as well try and save what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we've got a little fight on the front as TaToH sends the Huskarls forward. Now in these numbers, TaToH will actually get the upper hand on the knights. These knights are completely unupgraded, and the Goths have great knights in the Castle Age. They get bloodlines, they get +2/+2, making them on par with anybody else's except the Franks. So well, even the Franks, my bad. And so right now I feel like BacT needs the upgrades on the knights, otherwise these Huskarls could become a pretty big threat. With 7 pierce armor, these TCs and the watchtowers are basically just going to tickle them with their arrows as they deflect off of their mighty shields.
Yeah, great raiders. Yeah, they definitely tickle, that's for sure. Oh boy. But so yeah, 3 TCs up for BacT, same for TaToH. We're going to see a monastery now. That's actually also, we haven't touched on, monks are pretty good against Goths because they're quite slow units, not slowest in the world. Especially the fact that TaToH, I doubt he's got the squires as well. Doesn't look like he's got squires either. So they're actually a reasonable defense. So good from BacT. Might as well. Castle Age building. Check. Essential relics. Check.
Healing on the knights. Check.
Healing on the knights as well. Yeah, check.
Absolutely worth it.
It's a good checklist we got going on here. That's for sure.
I mean, okay, one thing I've got to say right now, though, is just looking at the ecos. Yeah, TaToH has a lot more farms. I mean, just look. TaToH's eco just looks a lot more fleshed out. It looks like he's really geared up to just go ham on the production with those Huskarls here. And actually, his Huskarls coming in the south, getting trapped. This is a terrible position for infantry units to be. Oh no, they might be very defensive versus arrow fire, but if they can't get out, they will just get peppered with arrows, and eventually they will die. I cannot believe TaToH made that move. That is so unfortunate for him.
He's probably just slapping himself on the forehead thinking, oh Christ.
What have I done?
Yeah, dying to crossbows, what an insult. Oh my goodness.
That should never happen, but it just goes to show how positioning can be so important. I mean, those Huskars would have cleaned up that army of crossbows in the open any day of the week. But put them in a tiny corner and block them in with a couple of knights, and suddenly you've got an AoE fail on your hand.
Yeah,
And, gosh, I mean, that was terrible.
At least what he can do, he can type in the all chats why would and put space created. Space is safe. You're safe.
You've been playing too much Dota. Space created. Come on, get out of here.
I'm sorry. I hate to stop. But let's talk about TaToH's plan. He's got two options here. He can go, as you said, full out Huskars. You can in the castle age. You can drop 3-4 more racks. Let's say get the Anarchy, whatever, and just slam them out and just start hitting him where it hurts. Because it's fairly doable. I mean, BacT's base is still fairly open. I don't see any other defensive castle just yet. So, and again, it's still crossbows on the field, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, it's still a good opportunity. So, I'm curious to see what TaToH does. I think he's going to play it safe, though, and look to try and go up to the Imperial Age. But I could be wrong. But, oh my God, look at BacT's gold.
Yeah, he's got like 1,400 or 1,600 gold in the bank. He's building a market right now to try and balance his eco out. I mean, that's sloppy, to be honest. At this level of play, you don't expect players to have that much imbalance in their eco. But I've got to say right now, what I'm thinking TaToH's going to do is, he's added this 4th TC. He's closed up his wall on the right side. He just wants to get that to that really late game sort of goth spammy death ball that you can achieve with Anarchy Perfusion. In fact, Anarchy's coming in right now, so he can make the Huskars from the barracks. And I mean, the spam is going to get pretty real right here. One thing I've noticed as well is that he's had a mangonel on the right side of his, on his farm for a long time. He could have sent that forward and tried to get some of these crossbows with that, because at the moment it's not really achieving anything out there.
Yeah, it could be blocking the villagers. Like, hey, I'm trying to look at the farm here. But look at this, yeah. The Huskar spam has begun. He's actually going to go with the castle age strat, I think he's looking like. Anyway, he's got the 3 racks. I think he needs another racks personally, but the tracking's just been done apparently, so good news for him. Plus, yeah, I think this is going to work, I hope. But here's that castle from BacT up the north, though. Oh, interesting. Ooh, is BacT up?
I think BacT will be up, yeah. He used the market to buy some food, I think, and he's going for that faster Imperial. So this is actually a window of opportunity now for TaToH to really step on the gas and punish BacT for investing a huge amount of resources into that Imperial Age upgrade. His economy on the south side is so open. I mean, look at this TC right here. It's just asking to be raided. And TaToH is definitely stepping on the gas with that Huskar production. The 3 racks, the castle, pumping out the Huskars, and he is on the way up to the Imperial Age as well. But this is a great opportunity for TaToH to just do some big damage right here.
Yeah, this is the prime time. This is go time for TaToH, that's for sure. Another TC trying to be built by BacT, but always going to run into the Huskars. Say goodbye, my friends. Thank you. I mean, he's boarded. Might be safe for now, but don't say it for that long. But this is the thing, though. There's so much disruption going on for BacT right now. Yes, he's got the castle up. He's going to get 3 or 4 axes up. But will he actually have the economy to, A, get production going? I don't think so enough anyway. All the upgrades.
Well, let's just compare the farmers right now. TaToH has 49 farmers, right? And 32 miners. Compare that to BacT. BacT has 22 farmers and 3 miners. His eco is in no shape. He just doesn't have the farms to get upgrades and production. And so, sure, he's going to hit the Imperial Age. And then what? He's got 132 food in the bank. At the moment, he's making some long swords, but without that much food income, he's just not going to be able to sustain unit production. And TaToH, with those 4 villagers that he had gathering the deer up in the north, he's come around the back of BacT's base, and now we've got 3 barracks up there, and we're going to see Huskar spam from the rear as well. So BacT is going to get... Oh, it's a BacT sandwich here with Huskar for bread at this rate, as BacT is just going to get outraided, I feel.
Yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I love it. He actually used those villages at the end from the north.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, he used them. And he's putting a castle down. We were right in our prediction. It's just maybe 42 minutes in, that's all. But no, this is brilliant. The 3 barracks, that's great. That's got me going. You can't do anything about it. I mean, you could try and use the market from this gold and everything to try and float the economy and get, 2-handed swords and try and get some production. But look at these longswordsmen. It's just +1 armor. They're not going to do
Oh
anything.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, they've got 2 ants now, but I don't think they're going to do anything still.
No, I agree. I think it's just sheer numbers for TaToH is going to win the day. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've got a counter unit. If you're outnumbered 10-1, I mean, it means nothing at the end. So I feel like in this case, with TaToH's castle coming up at the back, he's going to deny some of that gold from BacT as well. And I mean, TaToH right now can just sort of bide his time a little bit, maybe get +4 on the, +4 on the attack, and also go for the elite Huskarl upgrade, but I don't think he can actually afford that right now. He's actually got some trebs coming out as well, so looks like he's going to try and treb down that castle first, but, well, never mind. It's GG.
GG. That was so well played by TaToH towards the end. I think he was absolutely correct to go for that castle age push. And BacT, it's really unfortunate for him because I can see where he was going with it by going up to Imperial, but that's so risky. Especially all you've got out at that point was just crossbows. If you had Huskarls, then yeah, you should be fine because you would have the infrastructure in place. Where BacT had to transition into the 3, 4 racks, 5 racks, castle, everything, and that took too much time, and he was too exposed. Boom.
Yeah. Well, I liked the way TaToH played that a lot, and I think actually probably the biggest problem for BacT is that he didn't really have any wall off anywhere on his map. If you compare his map to TaToH's, and I'd like to show you guys on the stream, but my game has crashed. So TaToH, if you look at the minimap at least, you can see he's actually got a bit of a wall off to the north. It might only be houses. And also at the south, he's got that wall off with houses as well. It's enough to at least give him a heads up if BacT is heading around that way. But what actually was the problem for BacT on the other side of the map is TaToH was able to sneak 4 villages around the back and actually build a castle behind BacT's base. That lack of vision is terrible. If you're in the late game, you know, by the time you reach Imperial, you want to have good vision. You want to be able to prevent raids coming in because raids is what really hurts your economy and grinds you to a halt. So TaToH there did play a really good game, and he's going to get the win in game number 1. We're going to come back out right here and get our second game loaded up, or at least for me, I'll restart the game. And I've had all this